Hello. Um, Today I first start with what I did yesterday because I started to not record every session every day. Sometimes I work on my work computer like yesterday, and I don't have Zoom installed there. I don't have a microphone. It's just a simple desktop, so it's hard for me to record what I'm doing. And sometimes I work like in 10-minute breaks from other projects. So on days like that, I decided to just summarize what I did that day. What I did yesterday, for example, I finally put one of my data sets together. So I wrote 3 codes: merge session, merge data sets, and merge cases. So I have, so my experiments are like, okay, we have this plankton and we test this when there is food in the water. We test its, we put it into the aquarium. Okay. And then, so it's, oh, and then we record its movement. So that gives us how it moves in 3 dimensions over time. And then so I do this for not just, organisms develop. So I do this for different life stages. So maybe this is baby, and then I do this for like a child, and then adults, let's say. So I have plankton from different life stages and different environmental conditions. In my case, I add food into the aquarium, and I also test without food. Okay, so I ran, I calculate the path of the plankton at different radius levels with really small increments. So for one plankton, I have the length of the path for 1000 radius values, 1000 rows. So for one plankton, I have 1000 rows of data. And I tested, for each case, I tested 300 planktons. So it makes 300,000 data points. Okay, 300,000 rows. And I did that with and without food, so 600,000. So yes, so I first write a code, and I did this in, multiple recording sessions. So let's say in recording session 1, I have 4 recordings. In recording session 2, I have 5 recordings. Okay. So for each plankton, I have, so for example, for no food case, for the baby, I have 300 text files with each one consisting of 1000 rows. So first, what I did, I wrote a code that put these individual text files together with some arrangement. So this is that code, merge data sets. It gets the file location. I put what life stage it is, what case, in what folder, etc. And it reads the file, the text file. I tell the code to assume that white spaces, the delimiter are white spaces. I do some column name arrangement here. I delete the first one and then I shift everything to the left, and then I pop the column with no values, and then I concatenate file. So this is a loop. What it does is I just gave the column names. So it takes the column names and it reads the first file. It does all the arrangement, and then it concatenates the empty data frame with just the headers. It concatenates the file that it read to the empty data frame I created initially with just the column names. And then it reads another one and concatenates the file to the end of it. And it does this operation until there are no files. Okay, I put here because my file names are just numbers incrementally increasing, and the increment is being 1 for each, like shrimp, plankton 1, plankton 2, plankton 3, plankton 4, etc. So after each operation, it increases the number with 1, and then it defines the path again for the new file. And then if the new file exists, it just performs the operation until the final file name or path doesn't exist anymore. And then it inserts some additional columns like life stage, case, session, and it finally writes this file. So, but this is for each session, okay? For me, I mean, ideally, you write one code and then that code does it from start to end. But in my case, it's easier for me and it takes less time to put together, just take this existing code, change it just a little bit and put together those sessions. So I just did that. So to put together the different session files, I just changed the code a little bit. So it's basically not too different. I still have the loop. It just doesn't do any, it just reads the file. For example, here it reads the file. Now, since I saved the file as a CSV file, it reads the CSV, and then I tell it that the index 0, which is the column, is the index column. So reads, okay, this is the index column, and then it does the same, concatenation until there's no files anymore in the folder. And then it writes this file, and then I have a file for the whole case, which is this life stage, or like this life stage, like for example, metanuclear life stage, which means like just after the baby, and then no food case. And I wrote one more, which takes the no food and the with food cases and then puts them together without any loop, because now I have only 2 files. So this is what I did yesterday. I wrote these codes, and then I put my file together, which is here. You see that? So I still have to add some columns. I still have to add some more data, like 90,000 more rows I have to add, but those data are still being analyzed to return to prepare it to make some calculations on it. But I have 510,000 rows and 6 columns.